GameWorn Radio is on the air.
Hey! Chilton scores! Hopping the Cordova, baby! We're going bowling. Now, let's go on Moose on a Harley. The fires, he scores! LA face with an Oakland lead. Scores! Make me a bicycle cop. They score! Bowmeister paid that man his money.
GameWorn Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Derek, GameWorn Radio, part of GameWorn.us, and we are back with a fantastic topic to talk about tonight. We're joined here with Jason, Eric, Dan, and Tom. And Jason Noyes, we're going to refer to you as Doc for tonight.
You can just do that permanently. Everybody knows that one.
Sometimes I flip-flop back and forth, but I'll definitely make sure
I'm just glad we're back.
Oh yeah,
My
dude,
God.
It's been, what, a month?
Too long.
At least, yeah, it seems forever.
Yeah, so we're trying to get Steven connected, and I love it when Steve's on the show because he, it always pops up on Skype that those pictures, if you have a picture connected, and his picture's downright hilarious. It's for some people who've visited the page after the show, I posted a picture of it, and it's just this big, cheesy, just ridiculous grin. I love everything about it. It's hilarious. But yeah, anyway, back on topic. The topic for tonight is we're talking about bad traders, bad deals, how to recover, how to stay away from them, and some of the drama that's seriously been going on in the hobby as far as like grudges and like, I don't know, just people being petty, we'll say. I don't know what to call it. I just know it's been kind of all over the place, and it's been driving me crazy. I've got a lot to say about it, but I don't even want to open up for it because it'll probably just piss me off too bad. So, do one of you guys want to talk about a bad deal that you've had and how you either recovered or let it go or anything like that? Don't chime in.
I'd say, luckily, I've not had any. However, the biggest thing that people need to learn is if you feel it's going bad, walk away, cool off, don't be stupid. If somebody royally screws you over, yes, try and remedy it. If they still continue to screw you over, put it out there, let everybody know. But just remember, don't take stuff too personally. Most of us are friends in this, but new people come in and they haven't always understood, or they just have pockets full of money and think all their shit's worth tons of money that they've overbought. So it's just try not to make things too personal. But yeah, I hate reading about people getting screwed over on stuff, because then you get to the point where it's like, do I really want to keep dealing in this hobby if I'm going to get screwed like this?
That's the thing. I think the main thing that a lot of people are going to take away from this, just because someone tells you no doesn't mean it's personal. It's just a business decision. Like, someone offers you have a jersey for $500. Someone says, I'll give you $250 for it, and they're like, I'm sorry, that's not what I'm looking to pay for it right now. So thank you for the offer, and enjoy your day. Oh, how dare you? You're being cheap. No, then that's the thing. Once these people are declined, they take it personal. They're like, oh, you're just in it for the money. No, I'm just trying to get what I want to pay, what I paid into it, and I want to get something back into it. I don't want to be a total loss. I'm selling it for $500, but I paid $700 for it, and I know it's worth at least $500. So, and that's the thing. These people, that's what drives me crazy, is everyone takes everything personal when it's really just business. It's just, I don't know.
I think we have a problem being able to identify exactly what a bad deal is, because people are very quick to jump the gun. So
Yes.
A lot of people are like, oh, this person, didn't give me all the information, I didn't buy anything, and I'm just mad that the deal didn't happen. well, the deal didn't happen. It's not necessarily a bad deal, and that doesn't make that person a bad trader per se. Now, there's a difference between a bad trader and a bad deal. Now, a bad deal is something that, somebody exchanged something, so you first have to have the exchange of something, whether it be money or if in a trade somebody shipped something out. And then a bad deal comes into play when somebody doesn't get that thing in return, or something happens along the way and you can't find an amicable solution. Now, Steven was close to a bad deal on a puck, but it wasn't through the fault of the buyer or the seller. Yeah,
It was.
receiving.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you great, man.
Yeah, that was really scary there for a little while.
Yeah, so you had a puck coming in, and when you received it, there was nothing in the box or something, or there was was it tape?
Yeah, so it came from Ukraine. It was Dylan Larkin's second goal ever puck, and it was getting sent over, and tracking just disappeared, I guess is the best way to describe it. And a week went by, kept checking tracking, nothing. Well, the original sender went to the post office to find out what was going on, and they handed him back the box. It was ripped open, my name was ripped off, and they had a piece of, like, a roll of tape inside. And luckily, we kept going through the motions, got a hold of the U.S. Post Office, he got a hold of the Ukrainian Post Office, and he made sure that, he followed up with them completely, and I followed up with the U.S. Post Office completely. And eventually we found out that somebody actually took the puck that worked at the Ukrainian Post Office, and because they get searched when they leave the building, as they were trying to take it out, they found it, called him, and he was able to send it out about the next day. So I received it, everything's good, but it was touch and go there for a while.
So that's a good case of a good recourse of a bad deal. So it's not necessarily a bad deal because of anybody's fault. It's just something happened in transit. But the good thing is, at that point, the seller did due diligence as well as the buyer to find a solution. And so nobody was out, the item was found, and it was solved. And I mean, that definitely adds a lot of props to the seller's book.
Yeah, I mean, there was a backup deal that would have been made had that not been found, but luckily we never had to get there, so.
Yeah, so overall it was pretty good.
Yep.
And Tom, you're about to say something?
Yeah, I had one that almost happened, but it kind of, luckily, it all righted itself. Can you hear me? Okay, I don't have it on mute. It dealt with a Patrick Lalline Buffalo Sabres jersey that a guy I contacted say, hey, I'd like to buy that from you. And he's like, well, what are you willing to offer? Because he didn't put a price on it. So I just said, I'll give you 300 for it. And he was like, okay, that's a good deal. Just PayPal me the money over, and I'll mail it out on the next day. I said, sure, give me your PayPal address. And then 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes go by. I'm like, okay. And I said, hey, are you still there? Do we still have a deal? What's going on? He's like, oh, yeah, here's my address. And I sent him the money. And within 10 minutes, he's like, I'm going to have to refund you the money because I sold the jersey to someone else. I was like, but you posted that you had it up, and I responded literally within 10 seconds because I literally had just gotten on the page when you posted it. I said, did you sell it out from underneath me? He's like, no, I just changed my mind. I'm not going to sell it. And I was like, something just doesn't sound right. He's like, then he finally said, well, okay, yeah, someone else is going to buy it from me instead, and they're going to pay more for it than what you offered. I was like, but we had a deal. I sent you the money. Then all of a sudden, and that's the deal. I mean, he did refund me my money, but I just thought it was kind of a shady practice. Like, hey, yeah, I'm going to take your money and get you the jersey. Oh, wait, someone's going to offer me more? No, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that deal on you after we made verbal and, exchange of money agreement. To me, I thought it was kind of shady because I actually did post that in the Bad Trader group on Facebook. And that's really the only bad experience I ever had. And I've really just I got rid of the dude. Like I blocked him, and I didn't want to have to deal with him again because I thought that was extremely shady and kind of underhanded.
So
And I was just lucky I got my money back. So
that's a pretty good example of not necessarily a bad deal, but I would say maybe a not up to par seller.
right,
Because you're definitely, the thing is you got your money back, so I mean that,
right,
and nobody's out anything. So I mean that solidifies that it wasn't necessarily a bad deal. But you're definitely looking at maybe a more unscrupulous seller, and you did the right thing on that is by blocking them. That way you don't have to interact with them anymore. I know when I buy, sell, or trade, I generally only do that among my friends or people or entities that I trust, migrate directly from the team, things like that. Very rarely do I actually go outside to people that I don't know and make deals. And that kind of protects me, which is really, really nice. But if you have or come into a situation in which you don't feel comfortable with something, your best bet is to walk away. Nothing's worth like tarnishing either your reputation, especially if it's coming down on your end, or risking the loss of anything. I mean, when I put out like a feeler for a specific jersey, I remember putting one out there and then saying, if this ever shows up, make sure you let me know. And then 6 months later it shows up, but my friend bought all of them and I wasn't notified, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the dude tried to sell more stuff to me, and I was just like, no, man, I'm done. So you have to kind of draw your line in the sand when it comes to stuff like this. Now, in some regard, you have to determine, is it worth you putting your name out there to tell people about the practices of somebody else? So, I mean, a lot of it really hinges on communication. I'm sure some of you guys have some stories based on, like, either lack of information or probably, like, misinterpretation of information, yeah?
I think that's also a lack of knowing each other, especially if you go Facebook forum, because it's so big exposure, new collectors, and as you guys know that I posted up about 20 something pieces, and
holy crap, yes you did.
yes I did. Made the splash, Doc. And then a lot of people don't know me, and of course, I get ripped on pricing, but it's like all I do is it's like, that's your opinion, I agree, but it's not going to change my thought process on pricing or selling. If I want to come down, fine. You can't go back up, realistically. But if I needed to come down for any reason whatsoever or take part in trade, that's good too. But I mean, I did do a deal with one collector that did not know me, and he asked for references, and he did call my gray and ask who I was and whether I was reputable and things like that, and sent me a bank check, a certified bank check for the item, and that was fine. And the item went out as soon as I saw that it was certified. I went right to the post office and overnighted it to him, so he ended up getting it yesterday, from Friday to yesterday. So I think a lot of people just are a little gun shy with dealing with each other on an open scenario, in a wide open scenario, whereas the closed community, whether it's the other site or GameWorn.us, it's much safer. Again, there's not that, we're a small circle, small family, guys. So, I mean, you got to expect some new era collectors to be very curious as to how you ascertain pricing, where do you get stuff, how do you get it, and there's so many more questions you have to field than the seasoned collector who understands and knows who you are in the process.
Well, you bring up a really good point, and I've been trying to hit this across the hobby as much as I can. I think Facebook does an extreme disservice to our hobby. It's great that it's easy for people to connect there, but I think it eliminates people doing their due diligence as far as researching people or asking for references, like that collector did for you, which is not common anymore, as well as just access, ease and access. One of the things that I do on my website, GameWorn.us, in the forums, is I provided people with a feedback forum where you can start a thread and keep track of all the people that you've dealt with. And in my process of redesigning that website, I'm going to be adding 2 user profiles, feedback threads, where you essentially can leave feedback for somebody, eBay style. That way you'll have like a plus-minus rating and things like that. People can look at your trade or dealing history and be more comfortable. But Facebook really eliminates that. I never see anyone on Facebook say, you know, who have you dealt with lately? You just don't see it anymore. And
I don't know if they're even doing a lot of deals. I mean, the deals that I've done and about to do. I mean, Complete Stranger was this one. It was actually for the 91.2 Sidorkowitz that I sold. Complete Stranger in the hobby. He does own a few gamers. Yeah, there's a couple of guys, you know, that we know from being in the circles, and then one guy on the show that was not here, unfortunately. So, but again, it's one of those things where they just it's a comfort level, and they got to know what they're buying, and this is the problem. New era collectors don't respect vintage items because once it's gone, it's gone. You could always get another Taves, Kane, Stamkos, or somewhere down the line. They're still making them, and they're still making them. I would say by the bunches, but you know, they're still making more than the older stuff. So the availability will be out there.
You know, I think it depends on who you're dealing with, because, and by the way, and this is Jason Seidel, you know, I bought one of my best jerseys on Facebook after posting I buy high-end vintage Devils, and the guy, you know, messaged me and told me he had these shirts, and, you know, sent them, and I was like, you know, wow, I actually can't believe this. I'm like, you know, I was like, holy crap, they actually look real. And so, you know, we were talking, and I was like, look, you know, look me up. And I was like, because, you know, if you're in this tri-state area, we can do a cash deal. And he actually did research on me online, and you can pretty much Google me and Devils and find out articles and stuff like that in forum posts. And so,
collector interview.
Yeah, no, actually, I think he actually read that. Thank you, by the way. So I mean, so you have that, right? And so I think that's a good thing, because this guy was not really a collector per se. He just happened to get his hands on some nice pieces. And you know, I think another time, you know, the new era collectors, I think Facebook is bringing in people who don't really know the hobby yet. And so this one guy, you know, I had an extra pair of Keith Kincaid, a blocker and catcher set. And he's like, oh, that can't be real. I'm like, it is. And he's like, where'd you get it? I'm like, off Kincaid. He's like, oh, bullshit. And so I actually had the picture I took of, you know, when I met Keith at Starbucks, and I just had him take a picture with the gloves, and I just happened to have it on my phone. And I was like, well, here's Keith at Starbucks with the gloves. And, you know, but you know, it was just some kid, right? So, like, he never actually ended up buying the gloves, because I you know, and I told him, I'm like, dude, you know, I bought 2 sets. I only need one. I wanted to match them to my pads, and I got the ones that match to my pads. I'll sell you this for what I paid for. And, you know, still he ended up backing out on the deal, like, after swearing he was going to send me the money. That's probably happened to me more often than not, by the way.
See, I was going to say...
Go ahead.
I always make a point, whenever I make a deal with someone on Facebook, I always make a deal to say, you know, I had a great dealing with this person right here. And, you know, I always publicly thank them to let other people know, like, hey, this guy is a good guy to deal with.
That does no good, though, because that shit gets lost so fast.
Well, I know.
It's good for like 10 seconds.
I'm trying to do my part.
Well,
Okay,
I understand, and
You're just
I'm
being
just
an
saying,
asshole today.
I'm being a realist to you, to be real.
I know.
It is, whatever you put on Facebook is good for, a fraction
seconds.
of time, and saying that somebody's good, nobody's gonna ever reference that, to be honest. The only thing that people actually reference on Facebook at this point is marginally referencing the bad trader group, which really I know people like to have it around and things like that, but I really don't think it does a ton of good. I don't.
It's
And
lost
that's
its
my
purpose
opinion.
from what it started out to be.
I know they have. Paul keeps track of a document on there, and that's good. But how many of you actually reference that group and look through the posts to try and find somebody before you deal with them? I've never done that.
I don't.
I don't, because I pretty much know who is pretty well respected in the other groups, and it's like, because I've been around this, for at least 2 years, so you kind of get a measure like, hey, this guy's got good stuff, and no one's ever really said anything bad about this guy, so that guy's really cool to to deal with. Or I've heard a lot of bad things about this dude because he always wants to sell you this, or he always wants to trade you that, but then he doesn't want anything in fair value. He wants something better than what he's trying to trade you or buy from you.
That group is really best served for the new people in the hobby, and they don't know it exists, because it's one of those things that you just kind of have to know. So it's used among us, and that's all we do is bitch about each other on there, and kind of get tired of it,
Yeah, I don't even know the drama that's going on over there. I don't even pay attention to it. I saw it and I was like, what the hell is this? This doesn't concern me, so forget it.
Steven, you going to say something?
Yeah, one of the things that I've noticed in the deals that I've made, they're usually items that kind of pop up quickly and they're gone right away. For example, I picked up a Lidstrom stick and an Iserman stick that popped up in the Detroit GameWorn forums. And luckily, I don't know if you guys know Mike Jones, who posts on there quite a bit, but between Mike and Derek, I was able to get 2 quick references of the stick. And it, when it does it look real? What does it look like? Is this a good price? And those are items that luckily I jumped on because I know there was other people after them. So that's one of the things I use, is the people that I know that have an idea of what's real, what's not, what could actually be out there, and that helps quite a bit, especially in deals where if I don't jump quick, they're probably going to be gone.
Yeah.
Well, and that's makes a good point, is being able to reach out to people. We all know, because I've gone to Derek with questions on some wing stuff or some other things. Guys come to me asking some things on blues. There's different people. We kind of know the circle, and Pete said it too. There's the circle of guys that that you can reach out to, and in a lot of cases, when I've made deals with people through Facebook too, when they pop up, I'll go look at their profile and see if we've got other friends in common too. If most, and I've not had any bad issues yet, but if I'm iffy, I'll see if they're friends with other people, and like Pete had is get your references checked a little bit. Some people will do that, and I don't have any problem if somebody wants to ask, say, hey, I've not ever done with you deals with you before, can you give me some other people you've dealt with or can vouch for you? That works to a point. I mean, they could be full of crap too, just protecting me, but it's at least I'll offer that up there if they're unsure. But you get a lot of arrogant asses that just like Dan said, undercut or don't really understand how this works and what some of the values are. They go look at eBay and see something listed for this. Well, it's got to be only worth that much, or they don't do the research like we've all done.
The funny thing about that, Doc, you mentioned eBay, is they'll go out and buy a 1 by 1 inch piece of GameWorn cloth for like, $100 to $500, depending on the player, and then they don't know that they can get a whole jersey for like $300, let's say.
Yeah.
Or depending on the level.
The card collectors converting over. I mean, that's how I started.
Yeah, it's how I started also. And the only other hobby I do is the bobblehead collecting and the good to go posts. I don't know if it's the moderators just have too much time on their hands or what, but that's actually one of the biggest things there is they have, you tag somebody good to go, and once you get, I think, 2 or 3 of them, they add you to a list of notable, reputable traders. But that must take a lot. I've traded before. I'm on the list, but I don't know who does that, how they do that. But it's a lot of upkeep, I believe.
The hard part about those two is, again, it takes proactive. Like, nobody's saying, hey, I'm on this. Well, I don't really know, but I can't imagine too many people are like, well, I'm on this list or whatever. People are asking, hey, are you on this list? That's kind of why I'm trying to do that whole profile thing. So,
Well, you're also dealing with $30 items, not
yeah,
$500 to $700 items
yeah.
easily. So,
I mean, how important really is your reputation? I mean, I think it's pretty huge. Like, I think once you get your name out there as burning, it tarnishes everything. Look what happened to Milt. You know, some of you older guys in the hobby might know Milt and his jerseys and stuff, but once something happens, it kind of tarnishes everything. And you know, the LOAs that people have put out, I've seen people say that has a Milt LOA, I'm not even touching it. And it very well could be legitimate, but people will basically blacklist you in their own mind.
Yeah, but there's Derek, you know, there's mistakes made all the time with LOAs between
sure.
teams, Migrate, Milt,
Other
Classics, other sites. Yeah, I mean, just so I give it the, you know, as far as Hawks goes, if I find a nice vintage, let's say 80s Hawks, I give it the go through to see what it is. And, you know, whether it has LOA or not, if it passes my litmus test, so to speak, and I think Jason does with the doubles, same thing.
Yep.
If it passes, I don't care what that thing says. I mean, you know, you could throw it in the shredder. I could care less.
Well, there's
because
always
I know
a
what it is.
benefit to doing your own research. There's, you
Yeah.
know, you can't put a price on doing your own research. You can't put, you know, anybody else's opinion on doing your own research. But a lot of people are quick to judge based on whose name is tacked onto it. And that's why reputation is important.
I just got an LOA from GameWorn. I think it's GameWorn.com, and they misspell they misspelled a whole bunch of freaking words on the thing, and you know, but it says, you know, what the jersey is, and you know, I'm like, okay, whatever. If the person asks for the LOA, I'm like, fine, I'll give it to them. But there's so many misspellings and so many grammatical mistakes. It's like, this is written by a third grader. I love the jersey. It's just the LOA is really not worth anything.
Well, you got to take LOAs for what they are, right? They're a piece of paper. I mean, they're nice to have if it exhibits some sort of a provenance with the jersey, right? So you can sort of look at the chain. But you know, I just landed a shirt recently, centerpiece of my collection, and the LOA is directly from Migrate, and the LOA is wrong.
I've had that happen.
And because back in the day when Barry first started, he made some very common mistakes with certain shirts, and this was one of the years where he just kind of got it wrong with what they did, and so he put that in the LOA incorrectly, and I have others that are the same way, but I've never bothered to change it. This one I'm going to. And Barry said they will change it. It just obviously can't get, you know, the team person signature again. So.
Yeah,
you know,
kind of add an addendum.
I got a good one though for you. I mean, I did a player deal, and I asked the players, like, listen, just write a little note. You know, this is the GameWorn jersey and everything like that, and kind of spell out what it is and everything like that. And really nice guy, great guy, and he's well known. And he just writes, this is a game jersey in my collection. I hope you enjoy it. It's signed blank. That's it. And I'm just like, all right. I had to laugh. I had to laugh so hard because the poor guy didn't, you know, I mean, he's a great guy. Great guy. I don't want to name him, but he's a great guy. But he just doesn't understand what we're looking for as collectors. So I did 2 other player deals. I actually emailed them the Word file. I go print it, sign it, and send it. You know, so, and I always print it. I mean, there's no dollar amounts or anything like that. I print it. I do the LOAs, you know, like here I'm presenting you this particular item I wore in this particular year from this team, as you know, and now I I'm conveying or transferring. I forgot the exact words, but I do put something in it as convey ownership almost to you now. So it's kind of like a bill of sale, but with no numbers. But it does, you don't want to come back like, let's say like O.J. Simpson, because he sold his items to somebody else. He went somewhere else and told him they give him more money, and he wanted his items back. You just want to make sure that you have, now you own the actual item, even though it was, purchased person to person. So,
have you guys ever done any deals with Nick Virus? I know he's big in.
Nick Virus, for those who don't know, is the one that runs the World Hockey Jerseys eBay shits. And
No,
I have not.
No, I don't do deals with Nick.
Now that was where I first got started, was international jerseys, because they're obviously much cheaper. Well, some of them are, but he has one of the weirdest reputations of anybody I know. His stuff, everything I've ever heard was, it works, it's great, but when people try to deal with him, the number of people that hate his reputation of blocking eBayers, doing things like that, or not selling to people because they didn't buy enough off of him, it's really crazy. Some of those international forums and stuff where they attack his reputation, but love his jerseys, and his LOAs are, written like gold.
Well, here's the thing with something like that.
It's funny you mentioned Nick, because years ago I tried to buy an Adam Larson Sweden jersey off him when he was a draft pick from the Devils, and we couldn't come to an agreement on price, and it was just, he had one view and I had another, and I was like, fine, I didn't think of a big deal of it, and then I guess he had an eBay auction on something I thought was cool. I tried to put a bid on, found out he blocked me, and I've never actually did a deal with him, so I just had a good chuckle out of it.
For me, you need to know how to conduct yourself as a seller. I mean, to anyone.
Oh, it's just a bit childish, and that's fine if it wants to act that way. It's no big deal.
It's simple business that if somebody wants to buy something, you sell it to them. If you can agree on a price, you sell it to them. And if you can't agree on a price, then you move on. It's not that big of a deal. And it's dumb business to eliminate people from your purchasing market. It's terrible.
Hey, people you don't like still have money, and it still works. And I've sold a jersey or two to someone I didn't want to, but hey, their money talks, and I take it. If I want to move something, they're like, I want your jersey, and it's someone I've talked to or I've seen in the past. It's like, I'm not a big favor of them. He's like, well, I'll give you this money for it. Okay, your money is good as the person I know. I want to move to Jersey. You want the jersey. I want your money. You want my jersey. Let's make a deal.
To each their own. If this dude wants to go ahead and do this and play that way, let him. But expect people are going to not like it, and other people are going to hear about it, and they're going to be like, they're going to consider that part of your reputation, and do they really want to deal with you? Because what ifs, there's always the what ifs, and the chances of what ifs go up when people hear stories like that. People talk. They do. You can't stop people from talking.
No, and that's the way social media is built.
And they talk about shit
that
doesn't
interact no matter what it is.
They talk about shit that they're not involved in. They talk about, if you buy a jersey from something or somewhere, and then you just sell it or sell a piece of a package off, and somebody gets mad because you broke the package up, like, why are they mad? They have nothing to do with it, People just want to get mad, and they want to just talk shit, and it's kind of annoying.
There used to be so much drama with the Devils collectors years ago. It was almost like a soap opera, man. I mean, it was actually funny in some cases, and now I manage the Devils collectors group on Facebook, and in the beginning when I was trying to get it together, a couple of guys said they wouldn't join if these guys were involved, and so we took a vote, and I abstained. They voted them out, and I don't know if we're a year into it now. We got like 70-some members, maybe 78 or something like that. Not one single problem. It was amazing. Not one single problem.
Well, that's a great segue to talk about grudges, man. Grudges in the hobby. Like, all right, so you ended up having a bad deal or something didn't work out with somebody, but now you go and trash their name every chance that you get. Like, it's not really necessary. And then there's people that advise other people not to deal with somebody else that they've dealt with. You know what I mean? Like, I've had people come up to me like, don't let this person on your forum, or don't get involved with this person. I had a bad deal with them. And I'm like, they're not bad to me. A lot of other people like them, have had successful deals. Maybe yours is just a one-off, like, but they hold a grudge against these other people, and they expect everybody else to abide by it, and it's not something I can do. I don't X people off my list just because, you know, somebody else had a bad deal. I weigh it, you know, and I don't deal with a lot of people. I mean, let's be real. So why should I stop talking to that person who might have good or valuable information based on, you know, a botched deal that you had with them? It's grudges. And you see that, I see a lot of grudges.
I think you see a lot of
happening.
animosity. That's what you know, between certain group members or team collectors.
Well, live and let live, you know. Haven't we all heard that song, "Live and Let Live" or whatever?
Yeah.
Live and let die.
Well, that's what most people want to happen, apparently. But shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, life's too short to worry about what somebody else is doing. If
Oh,
you don't want to deal with
I
them,
agree.
ignore them. Like, you
Totally-
just don't
totally
exist to
agree.
me.
Well,
I ain't gotta
speaking
talk
of
to you about
grudges,
it. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm pretty sure there's on page 22, some asshole wrote on the GameWorn.us page an article, you know, dealing with stealing a jersey or something like that. I don't know if you guys read that one.
Dealing with what? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, somebody got too early to a wing sale and stole a jersey from whoever runs the GameWorn.us.
Yeah, you know what, Steven? Let's use that as an example. Let's talk
Oh,
about
God.
grudges on that one,
Talk
shall
it
we?
out.
That was probably that article. Like, I want to frame that someday and have us both sign it because
No, but seriously, that's a great example. Like, you know, it was a thing that was kind of shitty for me, you know, but live and let live. And you know what? You came to a walleye game with me on my tickets, and we hung out, and we talk all the time. So, I mean, you beat me on something fair and square. I wasn't happy about it. I wrote an article about it, just expressing my feelings at the time. Because, I mean, really, that's what literature is. It's not about, you know, this is... I don't know. I took flack on that article when I wrote it, but all I was trying to do was express something at that time. It doesn't mean I stand on it all the time, or it's not like I was calling you a terrible person or anything like that. I was just like, this is what happened, this is my take on it, and this is how I felt. And I'm allowed to feel the way I feel.
Yeah.
Everybody's
I think-
allowed to feel
No.
a certain way.
It's a
You're
point
not-
of
you're not allowed to
expressing
feel.
your deep feelings, you know, and you had expectations of hopefully landing some particular item. It didn't happen. It happens to all of us. And like I said, after a while, you know, I mean, you're not happy about it, and you don't have to be, but if you don't get over it, then you got bigger issues than collecting.
Well,
you
shit,
know,
we
but
were what, Facebook friends the next day or the day after?
yeah.
yeah, I mean, like I told every time I try to sell something, people ask about it. It's never for sale. If I ever move it, it's only going to you. So
Yeah, see, I mean, you don't have to turn a bad situation into a grudge. You don't have to be
Right.
pissed at somebody forever, you know? Find a way to get over
And-
it.
Sure, and a lot of us do that, and I know I've talked to different guys. I think even on this call and in the groups and that something comes up and multiple of us are interested in it, and in a lot of cases I'm like, you know what, you like this person more than me, or you're into whatever. It's like, I'll back off, or if there's something that shows up on eBay, I'll check with them and say, hey, are you going to bid on that? If you are, I'll back away from it. I'm not going to be an ass because I don't need anything that bad to jump in front of somebody else.
Yeah, you know, the Devil's Collectors do right now a pretty good job of discussing, you know, what's up in auction, who's bidding on it. Like, you know, I sold a bunch in the recent Game War. I had to work out a deal to get a shirt, and you know, before the auction, and so they had to agree to auction a lot of shit to help make up some of their money they lost. But one of the things that wasn't mine that was kind of cool was a Billington with a 75th patch, and I probably heard from about 4 or 5 collectors that they were interested, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need it. I got a Billington red. It's an earlier shirt, but I don't need this particular shirt if somebody else wants it. So I backed off, and hopefully one of them got it. I haven't heard.
Well, all this shit, and people fail to realize this, is all this shit in the grand scheme of things means absolutely nothing. What does matter is people. Your shit that you own is not who you are. You're not taking it with you when you die. The only thing you're taking with you is your experiences and your friends and, things that you've done and had. If I don't have a specific possession to show other people, I can still talk about it. Like, one time I saw this jersey. I know who has it. It's super cool. And then it saves me money. You gotta find a way to be okay with the things that happen in life. And people get too worked up over things. And then they go around and they risk their reputation to talk trash about other people.
I can't count how many times I have lost out on auctions on stuff of jerseys I wanted, but then and the way I always look at it is like, I lost it. Oh, well, then that's more money I can save to something else I might want down the line.
There's always something coming around.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Well, even Tom and I've had so many back and forths on stuff, of all places on Goodwill's auction site when things pop up, because I know there's certain things that he's interested in, and I'm like, hey, it's all yours, go for it, and stay away from it, because I don't want to be bidding up somebody and then either one of us pays a crazy ass amount or we both end up losing it.
It's funny. I can see people starting to jump on that because of us talking about it, but I've never had an inkling to want to go on there. I kind of I've left that as your domain.
Dude, I've just gotten lucky.
I'm mad Doc said something because now there's other people that keep bidding up on that stuff, and I'm like, damn it, he should have kept that quiet.
Well, I think Seattle Goodwill, it sells on eBay, because I lost a baseball jersey on there recently. I couldn't believe what it went for.
Yeah, some of the stuff, and it's usually the California ones that sell really well. The California sells a lot of their good jerseys. I just need to go to freaking California to their Goodwill.
Yeah, Jason, I don't know if you heard I know you weren't on that show, but I don't know if you ever heard it. I found, and I missed out on a shit ton of them because of stumbling into them late. But somebody, I don't know if it was the Kings directly, somebody donated a crap ton of LA Kings GameWorn jerseys.
The purple ones.
They were purple. There was purple and white both, because I have. I ended up getting a set too of. Now I'm gonna figure out who it was, but it's both the home and away, and then a goalie jersey. But they had a Garan GameWorn, and it had wear. I mean, all these. The only thing, it has the Kings authentic patch inside the whole bit. Still had the price tags from the store in them.
And now you're making grudges from people who don't want you to talk about it on the radio.
Yeah, I didn't know, but I just saw, I was looking out for an old Syracuse University baseball jersey, and this one was probably, 1915, and, I think I had a bid up to like $800. I think the thing went for like $1,200 or something like that, so.
Gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I played for Syracuse, so I thought it would be cool, but it's like, it's not that cool to me.
Hey, at least money went to a good cause.
No, exactly. I'm thrilled they got that much to it.
That's kind of how I look at because most of the auctions I go for are for like charity stuff. And if I lose, it's like, oh well, I lost. Hey, at least the charity gets money, and I get my money.
Well,
so
at those charities, have you noticed people that will bid only because somebody else has the high bid on it?
Yes, that happens to me
all over. People get mad because somebody else either has a bunch of jerseys or they just don't like that person, so they're gonna bid them up.
That's happened to me because Lake Erie Monsters. Sorry to bring that up. They used to do the secret one where you just wrote a random number in and you put a bag. Well, then they were starting to do the silent auction where you write on the paper, and they put the starting bid for the jersey at like $250. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna fuck around with this. So I put a $700 bid as the first bid, because I'm like, no way this jersey's gonna go for $250. He's a popular player, It's a popular charity. I'm just going to put 700, and let's see who wants to kind of screw me over. And it went higher than my 700, but I won, and I paid more than I wanted to, but I wanted the player, and I wanted the jersey because of the charity it represented. And I had no problem paying the money. And
Did I ever give you that guy's name? I forgot.
You never gave me the info. No, you didn't.
Oh, I was waiting for the season to end. I'll give it to you. I have to look it up in my work email, but
Well, we're going to have to wait till after we win the cup to give it me the information, probably.
Damn it,
What
there's
player did you
Steven
find?
making
Go buy it.
grudges.
And then
Oh,
keep
no,
it.
I'm not mad.
Tom, you're
I'm sure he's
furious.
just been-
You're
he's
gonna
just-
hold a grudge against Steven now, aren't you? You're gonna
Me?
tell him he's a bad trader because he didn't give you the info.
Oh, no.
I'm just playing with you.
I just didn't want
I know.
to. I just didn't want to be a jerk during the season to the guy because I'm sure he's busy. But I'll give you that info. He's a nice guy. He messaged me right back and everything. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, really, I find the grudging thing and people getting emotional about this stuff to be tiring. You know, especially when it comes down to miscommunication or lack of communication. It's like, all right, did this happen? Yes or no? And it's pretty easy to prove if it did or didn't, you know, and own up to something. If you're like, you know, maybe you posted an item for sale on something and somebody, you know, kind of called you out and said, you know, this really isn't GameWorn, it's game issued, or this isn't GameWorn, it's an authentic, or the nameplate's been changed, or, you know, you have omitted this information, then own up to it. You know, you can say that, yeah, that was my mistake, I should have done something different. You know, everybody gets so defensive about it, you know, and there could be a reason for everything. You know, maybe you didn't know, maybe you're still researching it, but people just, I think it's in human nature to want to fight about everything.
Or what about when you're
Well,
going
look
to
at
jail
Facebook in general.
Well, it's
Facebook is drama.
Everybody's tough on the computer or Twitter.
I'd just rather make friends and enjoy the hobby where we can each say, hey, what'd you pick up? Or like when people post the mail day posts where they get their jerseys and those kind of stuff is, yeah, some of the drama stuff is like, shit, just let it go and move on from it. If you don't want to deal with a guy in the future, don't. Or if he has something that you really want that comes up later, fucking drop the bullshit and just move on. And even if you have people buying stuff from you don't like, take their money. You don't have to be friends with them.
It's like when somebody floods the group with like 4 sale threads, like 20 of them over 3 days. You're just like, fuck, man, another one.
I
Anybody?
mean, I had a double mail day from Chris, from the guy I bought 2 jerseys from, but I don't feel like doing mail days anymore because I feel like, you know, people are like, oh, you just post, too many people post stuff about mail day and not too much stuff for sale. I was like, so that's why now I'm just like, hey, I just want to thank this collector for making a deal out for me. You know?
You ruined my joke on Pete, Tom. Damn it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I ruined everything. I'll just have another fucking drink.
You do that.
You know what? You know what? Just for that, Derek, I'm just gonna post another 20 jerseys.
Well, you know what, Pete? If you make it affordable, maybe I'll buy some.
Wow.
Damn, the gloves are coming off. Shit.
There we go. To each his own, my friend. To each his own.
Nah, I love it, Pete.
Oh, yeah, I know you do. I mean, it's you know, it's kind of funny and
It's nice
you
to
know,
window shop sometimes.
Yeah, it's nice to see what's out there
I'm
sometimes,
not-
even when I can't afford it.
I'm not a Blackhawks fan, but looking at some of those jerseys, it's just like, wow, that's just awesome to see. Just to see that someone owns that's not in a museum.
Yeah, I got some. I'm afraid to post the entire list, you know, at some point. But you know, sometimes I want to, and then there's something behind me that says no, I shouldn't, because you know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and
I get a lot of shit on for the one player I collect because he's a fan favorite for the minor league team, even though he's not part of the minor league team anymore. And it's like anyone's like, someone got one of his GameWorns, like, haha, look, I got this jersey and Tom Bohr didn't get it. I'm like, good for you. You know, I'm glad you got that. You know,
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I really am honestly happy. I can give two shits. Really, I'm just happy. You beat me for it.
Yeah, that's kind of the flack I'm taking with C chords because I
Oh,
got 12 Hawk C chords, and it's like, okay, I put one for sale. I think I can definitely live without one, and then, but it didn't come cheap to begin with. It came from veteran, old school collectors who they give you this is the buy it now price, or
Yeah.
it's just going to go to somebody else. And so again, it's not always about, I think, and with vintage, I think a lot of the new era think that, oh my God, it's not even worth that much money. It's like, well, you know what? Go find one. If you find one and you get it for whatever you get it for, or maybe you get it for beyond the price that I have it currently for sale, then you got to make decisions. One guy ripped me and says, unless you're writing a check, keep your mouth shut. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Right.
So
Well,
that's kind of the way I did
think
it.
that what the stuff goes for an auction, like it's like, these guys are never going to get their money back. I saw it in this recent GameWorn auction too. People were, ripping on pricing too. It's like, hey, listen, it goes for what it goes for, and you never know if there's, somebody that doesn't care about the money, or maybe some other guys will pay more for it. When I bought the 91-92 Stevens, a while back, I paid way more than I thought I was going to have to, right? But, it was one of those ones where I'm like, all right, I'm going to get this shirt. And immediately within the first month after the auction ended, I got 2 offers from separate collectors to pay me more than I wanted for it. And, people were, ripping on how much it went for. And I'm like, first of all, A, I'm not selling it. Second of all, believe it or not, people are actually willing to pay more than I did.
some people like to light cigars with $100 bills. I'm not one of them, but some people do. If you got more money than brains, then maybe you want to buy a common player's jersey for a F ton of money just so you can say you have it. Nobody knows everybody's situation. I love it when people try to speculate like that.
I think it's also, it's like if you're an avid fan of a certain player, and it's a have to have, and you feel that you're just gonna spend whatever you need to spend to get it. I've been there. I've done it. Trust me. I will do it. And there's other times where you just back off and don't do it.
But then just hold it against you because you're willing to drop a ton on a common player or whoever that is, or they'll accuse you of you're hoarding the market of that player.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, I am. I've heard that before.
Eric and Pete, you guys are Chicagoland, yeah?
Yes.
So, I'm sure you're aware, and you got to remember this is coming from an outsider because I'm not a Chicagoland person, but I hear things. You guys have a faction, right? So there's a kind of a split among Chicago collectors, yeah? You would say that?
I would say certain reasons why these, certain collectors that I used to go to their homes and we used to have pizza, beer, and watch a game and do a show and tell of mail day, don't really care for my presence anymore.
So what do you guys think about a ceasefire in April?
You know what? Listen, I've got no animosity towards anybody. It's just a matter of whether they want to do, whether they want something or not. And I'm going to pick on the C chords. There's definitely a couple of them that want C chords. I just haven't let them out, but they haven't really approached me on pricing. So I put one out. They don't respond. I know they want one, and and that's your choice as a buyer. If you want to respond to something, that's fine. If you're going to respond to something else for other reasons other than buying, then you're wrong. There's really no ceasefire per se. I don't have to, just like anybody else, you don't have to deal with anyone you don't want to deal with. And but I do command one thing, is that you respect your fellow man regardless. And to talk any type of shit or like I was accused of the vintage hawk market going up because I was buying feverishly. I did well in sales and real estate one year, and I devoted 20% of my earnings to my focus, and I was snapping up a lot of Blackhawk shirts, and for that reason they were like, that's, you're the reason why Blackhawk shirts went up.
Well, isn't that the economy though? And some people got to understand that is the economy. You take a look at, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay hadn't sold jerseys in so long, and then they just dropped last year's jerseys this year, and people went fucking stupid buying that shit, like real stupid. I hope we can all agree on that.
Yeah, some of it was good, and others were, I thought, were real cheap. And honestly, I ended up with the Stamkos and Bishop Stanley Cup Finals, and I thought they went cheap.
Well, Stanley Cup jersey could be one thing, but
That Bishop definitely went cheap. And
Bishop,
you know what? Your question there, Derek. You know what? First A&P can back me up on this. In the Chicago realm, you know what? I started collecting in 2005-06, so I'm still considered one of the newbies on the Chicago market. But there's still newer guys out there, and I get along with everybody, and I keep my mouth. I'm not on social media, so it's for me, I don't have to deal with that drama, and I see the few guys I have to at the convention or whatever the case is, and talk to everybody. So I'm lucky on that aspect. So April, May, June, whatever, to me, I get along with them, whoever.
For those listening, the reason why I specified April is because of the rather large GameWorn Jersey Expo we're planning in April around the NCAA Frozen 4 Championship weekend, and we're trying to get as many people as we can, so a ceasefire would be cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again,
we'll be there.
I think it's a great thing. The last time I did a show in 2010, none of these other collectors decided to support the show, but there were other collectors that came from even from where we're on. Doc knows who came. They drove 3-4 hours to get there, and there's others that flew in and things like that, and these guys live like 40 minutes from the venue, and you can't make the time to show up and support this particular situation. I had a 2010 expo, and if you don't show up, then obviously you're giving out the signals that you don't care to participate with other collectors.
Well, the hobby's about show and tell, isn't it? And
right.
Don't we want to have
if
some
you don't
great,
show up,
cool
you can't
shit?
show. Yeah.
We want to see your shit. Everybody wants, especially people are going to be coming over from overseas, so they're going to want to see everybody's shit. I
brought all my stuff to the Detroit show one year when it was still in Romulus and that. It's always like over 100 Hawk jerseys, and they were all different types. They weren't as focused and higher end. They've changed now. My collection is doubled per se, but also like lower end jerseys, I don't have too many. I focus on the higher end rare items and things like that, which is great. I mean, I get lucky, no doubt, and I'm sure other collectors get lucky in purchasing certain team favorites or styles or players.
Well, gentlemen, that's about all the time that we have for the evening. I hope some people have found a new respect for other people throughout this, and people can start letting bygones be bygones, and we can all get along and be happy and have some rainbows.
Rainbows and unicorns, my friends. That's all there is in life.
And see you Friday.
Yeah, see you Friday.
You don't sound excited.
Yeah, but we also should not talk about this on the radio. But yeah.
Glendenning who?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll definitely be putting on another show. 2 weeks. We'll have to talk about topics. Let's talk to significant others. See if we can get that rolling. Yeah. Cool.
Yep. Sounds good.
Derek, signing off. You guys have a good one.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Yep.
Take care now.
San Jose.
Up on
can't